Three true workplace horror stories. Stories so disturbing, they'll make you think twice about staying late at the office ever again. Story number one, the night shift at Greenfield Storage. I used to work the overnight shift at a self-storage facility just outside of Greenfield, Indiana. It was the kind of job you take when nothing else is available. 12 hours alone in a tiny office watching security cameras, buzzing people in. Most nights, nothing happened. Most nights. It was a Tuesday in November when things changed. Around 2 in the morning, I noticed something on camera 7. Camera 7 covered the long hallway of Building C, the oldest unit on the property. The hallway lights were motion activated, and they had just clicked on. But nobody was there. I watched the screen for a full minute. The lights stayed on, which meant something was triggering the motion sensor. But the hallway was completely empty. Then the lights at the far end clicked on too, and then the next set, like something was walking down the corridor that I simply could not see. I told myself it was a rat, maybe a bird that got inside. But then I heard it. Through the thin walls of my office, from the direction of Building C came a sound like someone dragging something heavy across concrete. Slow, deliberate, scraping. I pulled up every camera in Building C, all empty. But the lights kept triggering, one section after another, moving toward the end of the hall where Unit C-47 sat. Unit C-7 had been rented 3 years prior by a man named Donald Edler. He paid a full year in advance and was never seen again. The unit had been locked ever since. The dragging sound stopped. And then, on camera 7, I saw the door of Unit C-47 begin to rattle. Not like someone was trying to open it from the outside. It was shaking from within. I called my manager. He didn't answer. I called the police non-emergency line. They said they had send someone when available. I sat there, alone watching that door shake on the grainy security feed for 11 minutes before it stopped. The police never came that night. When my manager finally opened Unit C-47 the following week, it was completely empty. No boxes, no furniture, nothing. Just scratches on the inside of the metal door. Deep scratches, like something had been trying to get out for a very long time. I quit the next day. When I looked up Donald Edler online, I found a missing persons report filed in 2023. He was never found. Story number 2, the basement office. My friend Sarah worked as an administrative assistant at a small insurance company in Ohio. The building was old, built in the 1940s, and her office was in the basement. She used to joke about it, calling it the dungeon, but she stopped joking after what happened in March. Sarah worked late most evenings because her boss demanded it. By 7 p.m., the building was usually empty. She was used to being alone down there. The basement had its own entrance, a heavy metal door at the bottom of a concrete stairwell. Sarah always locked it behind her. One evening, she heard footsteps above her. This wasn't unusual. The building had 2 upper floors, and sometimes the cleaning crew came through. But the footsteps didn't sound like a cleaning crew. They were slow, deliberate, and they stopped directly above her desk. Sarah paused her typing and listened. Silence. Then very softly, she heard something she couldn't explain. Whispering, coming from the ceiling directly above her. Not muffled voices from upstairs. This was right there, inches above the drop ceiling tiles, as if someone were lying flat on top of the ceiling panels, whispering down at her. She couldn't make out words. It was just a continuous breathy murmur. Sarah grabbed her phone and called her boyfriend. As she described what she was hearing, the whispering stopped, and then one of the ceiling tiles shifted, just slightly, just enough for her to see darkness behind it. Sarah ran. She grabbed her bag and sprinted up the stairwell and out of the building. She called the police from the parking lot. When they searched the basement, they found that several ceiling tiles had been displaced. In the crawl space above the drop ceiling, they found a sleeping bag, empty water bottles, and a small collection of photographs. The photographs were all of Sarah, taken from above through gaps in the ceiling tiles. Some were of her working, some were of her eating lunch. One was taken while she appeared to be sleeping at her desk. They never found who had been living above her ceiling. The crawl space connected to an old ventilation shaft that led to an unlocked access panel on the outside of the building. Whoever it was had been coming and going for months. Sarah never went back to that office. The company moved to a new building the following year. But Sarah told me something that still keeps me up at night. She said that sometimes when she's lying in bed, She hears whispering, and she knows that nobody is there, but she hears it anyway. Story number 3, the last email. This one happened to me personally, and I've never told anyone the full story until now. I worked at a tech startup in Austin, Texas, small team, about 15 people. One of my coworkers was a guy named Marcus. Marcus was quiet, kept to himself, but he was good at his job. We weren't close, but we were friendly. He sat 3 desks away from me. In September, Marcus stopped coming to work. No notice, no email, nothing. His manager tried calling him. No answer. After 3 days, HR sent someone to his apartment. The door was locked. His car was in the parking lot. They contacted his emergency contact, his mother, and she hadn't heard from him either. The police did a welfare check. Marcus was gone. His apartment was neat. His wallet and phone were on the kitchen counter, but Marcus was simply not there, like he'd evaporated. The police investigated. Missing persons report was filed. Weeks went by, then months. Marcus became one of those stories people whisper about at lunch. Did you hear about Marcus? Nobody had answers. Then 5 months after Marcus disappeared, I received an email. It came from Marcus's work account. The subject line was simply my name. Inside was a single sentence. I can see you from where I am and I need you to stop looking for me. I had never been looking for him. I stared at that email for a long time. Then I called ET. They checked the logs. The email had been sent from Marcus's work laptop, which should have been in his desk at the office. But when we went to check, the laptop was gone. His desk drawer was open. It had been locked since his disappearance. It traced the IP address. The email had been sent from inside our building, from a device connected to our internal Wi-Fi. At 3:17 in the morning, we checked every security camera. There was nothing. No one had entered or left the building between midnight and 6 a.m., but someone had been in there. Someone had opened Marcus's locked desk, taken his laptop, sent me that email, and disappeared. The police were called again. They found nothing, no fingerprints on the desk, no sign of forced entry. The security system showed no breaches. I received one more email from Marcus, 2 weeks later. This time it said, "You didn't listen. Now I have to show you, Betsonich." That was the last email. I never received another one. Marcus was never found. I left that job a month later. I moved to a different city. Sometimes I think about what he meant. I can see you from where I am. Where was he? What could he see? And what was he going to show me? I don't want to know. Some questions are better left unanswered. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. And some coworkers, the quiet ones who sit 3 desks away and keep to themselves, maybe we should pay a little more attention to them while they're still there, because one day they might vanish. And what comes next might be so much worse than their absence. Those were 3 true workplace horror stories. If you've experienced something unexplainable at your job, share your story in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more terrifying true stories. And whatever you do, don't stay late at the office tonight.